Half the people are wondering, do you actually need an AI dispatcher? Is AI dispatcher worth it? And most of them are getting a wrong answer because they are being told about the product that is not made for them. It's the wrong product. AI dispatcher for trucking, AI dispatcher for HVAC or plumbing or field service companies is completely different things. For logistics, it's a different use case. For fleet, it's a different use case. Every product has its own specialty. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I made this quick tool and a questionnaire that's going to help you figure out, does your business actually need an AI dispatcher? If yes, what questions you should be asking yourself. So let's get into it. So the first thing is, it depends really on the industry that you want your AI dispatcher to be for. So as if you have watched my earlier videos on like what is an AI dispatcher, 4 industries are the main use cases. So one is a field service industry where you need to figure out who is the right person to go at a particular location, when they will go, and basically what will be the route they will follow basically. And who is answered based on like skills, certifications, then who can make the most money, all the machine learning training that goes in figuring out with that who is the best person. That's the field service use case. The second use case is trucking and freight. So for this, we need to figure out who is the right carrier to send your load basically, or for example, what is the optimized route based on capacity for your fleet or truck. The third one is emergency 911. There is of course government approved solutions that needs to be used for it, for example because of public safety. And then lastly is last mile delivery, softwares like Upper Route Planner or Route for Me, etc. These guys are the first step for route planning, but softwares like Upper are already heading into the direction for AI dispatcher. So let's go select for example the field service, because at field camp what we are building is an AI dispatcher for field service. The first question you need to ask, or you don't need to ask yourself, you might know already the answer to this, is how many technicians do you have? Because the math only makes sense once you have approx like 10 or more technicians. Below 10 and between like 5 to 10 is the point where things start to get a bit frustrating. You need to manage your ops, who is going where, etc. But it gets to the peak, which we call the inflection point, where you really actually need an AI dispatcher, because at that point things don't scale, is the 10 to 19. Then the second question you should be asking yourself if you need an AI dispatcher is your dispatcher working 50 plus hours a week? Officially, they are supposed to work 40 hours a week. But how much time, if you are the owner and operator, for example, and if you are the one dispatching, how much time it goes to plan all this logistics? Now, even if that is 50 hours plus week or 40 hours plus week, that means manually doing things has a tax, and that time which can be freed up if an AI dispatcher is implemented, it's going to be the cost savings reflected in the overall business in the various parts. The third question, which is most important, is do jobs, loads, calls regularly sit unassigned for 30 plus minutes? What this means is, let's say I'm a HVAC company, I just get a call ultimately which says, hey, my heater is broken, can you send someone? Now what the dispatcher is going to do, this dispatcher is going to say, hey, you know what, let me figure out who can come. They're the fastest. They are going to go on the map, they're going to see who is the closest person, and then they are going to send someone, which is just based on a random guess. Ultimately what AI dispatcher does, it removes that guess which the dispatcher is manually going to make when a call comes in. So what this question does is, what is the time frame where a job is sitting unplanned on your calendar, and how much manual planning is going to plan that job on the calendar. The next question, which is, does any one disruption, this can be if a technician calls in sick, truck is broken down for example, does any one disruption regularly blow up the rest of your day? So for example, the classic one that field camp deals with is, you have 20 technicians, one technician called in sick, let's say her Jessie, and she called in sick. Rest 4 technicians are available, they are planned on calendar. They have, let's say, 5 or 6 jobs today. Jessie had like 7 jobs ultimately. So what an AI dispatcher can do is basically you can say, hey, Jessie called in sick. Can you reshuffle her day and distribute it among the other people? So AI dispatcher, it's going to take Jessie's jobs, figure out which are the priority jobs, and for the existing schedule of the team members, what are the non-priority jobs? Because the non-priority jobs can be switched out with Jessie's priority jobs. All this planning AI dispatcher can do in like seconds. If your tool, for example, if you're using Service Titan's Dispatch Pro, it might not have gotten this advanced. What most AI dispatchers in market do is help you with the initial like planning and putting something on calendar. But the ultimate test for an AI dispatcher is what happens when a disruption comes in. The other question you need to ask is, can you see obvious inefficiency of your route or schedule on map? This is pretty straightforward. Like open your pins or jobs, for example, for any of your 5 technicians and put them on Google Maps. For on a given day, see if the route is like zigzag or they are crossing 2 or 3 places at the same time, or like in the same day, they're coming to a same area. What this means is that there are inefficiencies in your route which can be easily optimized by some mathematical model or a machine learning algorithm through an AI dispatcher. One of the last few questions is how much money a dispatching mistake is going to cost. If you send the wrong tech to the wrong location, for example, that means that you just lost the job money. The other mistake is routing mistake, where you knew that a tech is going like 50 kilometers out of the town, but still, because it was your large fleet of 50 techs, you didn't realize that, oh, one tech is already going and you sent another tech in the same area and they are doing the similar kind of a job. That means that route just costed you 50 kilometers times whatever the gallons like the fuel cost is. Another question is your business growing in a volume and complexity route? Pretty simple. This is the ultimate judgment, where if you want to grow from 10 technicians to 20 technicians, and for that you need to hire an additional dispatcher, that means things are already going to start to break, and the overhead cost to hire an additional dispatcher is going to be like 100k basically. So can that 100k cost be easily cut down with a tool like AI dispatcher? And lastly, will your team actually trust the suggestions? Because system does predictions based on math. Humans make decisions based on a gut feeling that I think that this person should go ultimately. And what system is going to say is, based on the historical data, Jesse is the right person for this job because he has done this kind of a work in the past. He is in the area, he has the skills, and he can do XYZ number of upselling. If your team is ready to take the suggestions and ease the load ultimately, and train the AI dispatcher, because it's not going to be like a out of the box, you implement the product on day one, it's going to be as you want. For 1 month, 2 months, you have to dispatch hundreds of jobs. Then the system is going to know that, hey, Jesse is good at this, Mark is good at this, etc. And then it's going to help you make a better decision. If you have all of this, then an AI dispatcher makes sense for you, because what it's going to do is, you have incoming jobs ultimately, for example, emergency job calls coming in, you just pick up the call, or if you have a voice receptionist or a voice agent, they are going to answer it and they are going to put something on calendar based on the AI dispatcher's suggestion. So there's 2 modes, for example, in FieldCam there is 2 modes. One is a queue mode, where you know that hey, you have to do this 100 jobs next week, or these are the 100 maintenance jobs you have to do in the month of May for HVAC spring season, for example. Then you press one button and it goes through the AI dispatcher and plans out the entire calendar. That's the first one. The second one is calls keep coming in and AI dispatcher keeps giving you the suggestion that, hey, for this job, this person should go. Now, if you integrate this AI dispatcher into a voice receptionist or a voice agent, then voice agent can answer calls. It can use the AI dispatcher to figure out for this kind of a location, job, etc., who is the right person. And then based on the dispatcher's suggestion, voice agent verifies ultimately and just books the job. Now, this is the first step towards an autonomous job booking system, where people are mostly focused on the voice receptionist part as of now. But the second layer, where the voice receptionist makes data-backed decisions, is where AI dispatcher comes into picture. If all of this makes sense to you, and your questions are answered, you know AI dispatcher is the right fit for you, then you can save, for example, for 14 texts, your 56 hours a month saved in scheduling, because AI dispatcher can do in 60 seconds what a human dispatcher would manually do in like 2 hours. Then the fuel saving is going to be $1,400, and overtime reductions basically, because you're planning everything properly in advance, is going to be $5,000, and extra revenue because you can squeeze in more jobs. The schedules are more tightly packed, routes are optimized, can be anywhere depending on your size of tickets ultimately. So based on all of these questions, do this thing. Actually write them down on a Google Docs or on pen and paper, etc., and try to answer them honestly. Are you willing to take the first step to automate your operations? Because if you are not willing to take the first step, then there's no point, just watching this video. Thank you.